Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Accept warm greetings from me. This is Dango's Diary. Cultural shock refers to those differences in life that you may experience in another country that you've traveled to, either as a tourist or a long-term expert. And this shock usually differs from our own perspective to what life is based on our origins. That explains why for today's video I'll be sharing with you some cultural shocks that I personally experienced when I moved abroad. I equally have a special guest for today's video, and he is going to share with you his own experience of life in Japan. Stay tuned to find out more, and I call on you to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share with friends and family. Stay tuned. Welcome back. As I was saying, cultural shock refers to the differences in life that you may experience in a new country. Where I am, it's Thailand, a country in Southeast Asia. I have experienced lots of cultural shock that can be categorized in the religious, economic, and social aspect. So to begin with, religiously, what I find different of life here in Thailand as compared to Cameroon, where I'm from, is the commitment in terms of worshiping that Thai people have towards their religion, which is Buddhism. It's very common to find Thai people very early in the morning visiting monks in the temples or standing by the roadside to give gifts and pay tribute. This is believed to attract good luck and good fortune for the day. Unlike us Christians, where we get to go to church on Sunday for worshiping, except those that are involved in church activities like group leaders or group members that might tend to go to church maybe twice or thrice a week. Otherwise, worshiping is strictly reserved on Sundays. So this in itself was very surprising to me, and it was a shock because it's different from where I come from, and I equally admire it because the people are committed towards their faith and belief. In terms of the economic aspect, again, like I mentioned, I'm from Cameroon, and life there is a bit tough economically. Like, you have to earn every good opportunity that comes your way. But with Thailand, I would say the government is making life much more enjoyable to its citizens, because you have a scheme where Thais are allowed to take loans from the bank. They are equally allowed to take loans or buy assets like cars and homes and pay per installment. Let me tell you what, if we had this kind of system back home, I guess many of us wouldn't bother traveling abroad to hustle for pastures bread. No. If you graduate from the university and your government is letting you take in an accommodation, a full apartment on credit, cars, why wouldn't you stay back home and have fun with life? This is something that equally shocked me. And in as much as I had a mixed feelings, I equally admire it because it helps Thais to have an easy life as compared to us back home, where it's not like that. You have to work and earn everything. And the last one, like I mentioned, the social aspect of it, the fact that I am a black man in a foreign land. I wouldn't want to say Thais or Asians black, no, just call them non-whites. Yeah, when you walk and pass by, like in the streets, or you visit shopping centers, eyes are on you, because some of them are fascinated by the fact that it's the first time they are seeing a person of color. So you have all these stares and looks onto your body. You are more like an alien. And the language in itself, the way they refer to foreigners, Farang is the word that they use to describe foreigners. But again, that word in itself has two categories. Farang is exclusively referring to white people from Europe. or America, whereas colored persons like myself, they'll rather refer to you as Farang Dam. So that dam here refers to blackness, the fact that you're black. So all this in itself was quite shocking to me. It took time for me to adjust myself to life here, not to mention the food that I'll be talking about in my second edition of this topic, cultural shock abroad. And I want you to also understand that these cultural differences doesn't just exist in a particular country. Wherever you go, you find these differences. That explains why I have a special guest with us today who is willing to share his experience of life in Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? I'm excited. Come on, let's welcome Joel Freeman. He's a Cameroonian that migrated to Japan. He lives there in Tokyo and he has quite a lot to share with us.
My greatest challenge in the office is the cultural differences. You know, we are from different backgrounds. I just came here and I met Japanese people, and they have their own customs and traditions. They have their own office conduct, and they have their own office ethics. Back in Cameroon, we have our own office ethics. So first, that was a challenge I faced, but I came to understand them. I came to know the office atmosphere. Another challenge, and it's a very important one, is the language. In Japan they speak Japanese, but back in Cameroon we speak French and English, and most African countries we speak English and French. So the language is a little bit difficult. I'm getting there. But for now it's still difficult. Sometimes they need to explain things to me like a primary school student. But it's fun, I'm getting there.
Just as you've heard from the horse's mouth what Joel Freeman has to say, such cultural shocks are quite common. It doesn't matter where you are, wherever you are, you always find an aspect of life that is different from where you come from. But then, what can you learn from all this? Or what have you learned from my experience and that of Joel Freeman's? Once again, let's welcome Joel.
The only thing I want you to understand is that it's not your country, and in that case you should be able to understand some basic ethics that are being permitted, especially at workplace. So in order for you to do that, you need to respect their basic ethics, and you need to respect their basic cultures. You'll be able to get along with them well. That's the most thing that especially Asians and Japan people, they always get angry that when you try to disrespect their culture and their tradition. Even me, if you go to my country and you try to do that, I get angry. So respect their customs and respect their traditions, and try to get a hold of a little bit of their language. If you live in Thailand, if you live in Malaysia, if you live in China, try to get a little bit of the language. You don't have to be perfect, and for those wanting to travel, those that are still planning to travel, of course, you can travel, but again, you need to find the purpose of why you are traveling. Just traveling for a greener pasture is actually not so much good reason. That's why when we travel sometimes for greener pastures, we end up having problems. You should travel to somewhere that, okay, for example, I want to go to Japan because I like the food, I like the customs, I like the tradition. In that case, when you get to Japan, you'll be familiar with some certain things, and you can study some certain things back at home, And yes, so because you like the customs and you like the tradition, you'll be interested in studying the customs and tradition. So that's what I'll advise those who want to travel, especially to Asia, to put into their heads.
Welcome back once again. Like you've heard from him, it's good to take into consideration this advice, and it's equally good to talk to those that have been in the so-called country that you intend to travel to. Seek for opinion, seek for advice, weigh your option before moving to a certain country, because the truth is not everyone can tolerate and accept these cultural differences. There are those that might come across as insultive. Yeah. So if you are not having a thick skin, it might be very difficult for you to accept these differences. Like I earlier mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is part 1 of 3 series that I intend to create as far as cultural shock of life abroad is concerned. And for my next video, I hope to have as many participants as possible, those that are willing to share their experience with you, dear subscribers. I love you all. Take care and see you next time. Bye.